think it's going. Hello, friends. It's me, Cynthia, and Marty, and Azalea. She is
Hi.
behind the computer, and we are Greengirlstudios, and we are streaming live from Asheville, North Carolina. Hello, my friends. Hello, Debbie. Let's see. If one of y'all out there wouldn't mind hitting giving me a thumbs up or let me know if the signal is strong and if I need to do something.
The stream just started and the music goes immediately to sax.
As I was like,
I'm long suffering. Let me see. They need to never recommend that again.
Wind instruments. She's like, not for me.
I think it's the brass.
Not today.
I don't want the brass.
Oh,
they want to show us some jazz action. I'm good on that.
There's a lot of jazz.
I'm not gonna lie.
We have on YouTube some of these background music that's supposed to be like, relaxing. Oh, hello, Morphing Designs. Hello, friends. Hello.
This one has a cat on it wearing clothes. We're putting this one on.
That does look good. So, what have we been doing all week? Well, we have been busy making silver pieces and finishing silver. I am going to show, here's a necklace. So I was leaning down. I think I hooked this. It's the necklace, crochet necklace that I made with sapphires all on one side and then silver on the other. And then look what happened. So I was leaning down. I don't remember what I was doing. But when I got up, it grabbed the edge of something. I think it was like a door handle or something and snapped it. So I was going to show how to repair this because this is a tricky fix. And if you didn't know how to fix at first, I was like, well, I really enjoyed that. I guess I can try and put a clasp on it or something. But I'll show one way that you can fix it. And that's this didn't have a button closure. This one, I didn't make it for wrapping. I made it to just go right over my head. This is my favorite length. So it's pretty long. It goes down to like this. And I like to layer them. That's what it was. Too much hair. Okay, so that's how, like that. I don't usually wear things that are that high. I always like this length because it goes over sweatshirts. Or like a bulky shirt. All right, Marty?
He's doing something. Look at his body.
All right, let's see. You know what's funny is that ruff that he's wearing is actually Azalea's ruff. And it fits Marty's neck. They have the same neck width. Isn't that cute?
The circumference is the same.
It's the same. Oh, hello, Cecilia. Karen says, I love that necklace. Thank you, Karen. Hello, Pat.
Marty,
thank you, Karen. Karen says, looks and sounds great. I see. Hello, Debbie. Hello, my friends. Hello, Michelle. I didn't see these comments. They came in when I was doing something. What was I doing?
Talking about your necklace.
Oh, I was.
Talking about baby.
Talking about baby and talking about my necklace. So that was a drag that broke. But not all is lost. I can show you how to fix it. There's a couple things you can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach another thread. You know what I think I'm going to do? In another color. I know it sounds crazy.
You just got kissed so hard.
But it might be, I thought pink would be pretty because it's kind of a neutrally, but I have another one. So I have a couple necklaces. So let's flip this around because I have a lot to show. And these are fiddly things. So be patient because this is one of those things that was telling Azalea. I was like, you know what? My attention is going to be on this. And it's like finishing, especially with nylon, you've got to have both your eyes on the prize and not one on the TV because one wrong move and you can burn too much. It's very easy. That reminds me, I need a lighter. If you can find one for me, you know what? If anyone has any tips, I've had this thread zip and I tried to change the battery. I noticed it didn't work. And I was like, and this worked like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. But it stopped working and I tried to change the battery and the battery is stuck inside there Like when you pull this thing up, if anyone has any tips, like I banged it on the table and all this like dust came out from the battery because it leaked, I guess. But I can't get it out and I want to use it. So the thing will come out. I was like, why did they make that such a snug fit? So anyway, that's a drive. Now I either have to get a new one or maybe I can fix it. Who knows? But now since this isn't working, I can't get the battery out. We'll have to go old school and use a lighter. I do have other things that I could use, but the lighter is I'm most comfortable, even though I'm not that comfortable because I tend to burn too much with the lighter. It's very easy to overburn. I don't know if you all know that from finishing. All right, let's see. I saw something flick on. Sometimes the comments will just keep going and they won't update and tell me. Oh, hello, Carolyn. Michelle, I'm also obsessed with Marty. Morphing Design says, I'm guessing you didn't lose any beads. Did you get a mark on your neck when it caught? No, I didn't. Debbie says, I love your cat. He's so cute. Oh, thank you. Hello. Cecilia says, hello, everyone. Hello, my friend. Hello, Vera. Thank you all for joining us for our little crafting time, a little session crafting. No, it didn't leave a mark. And I believe on the nylon, I think it says it's 20-pound test. I'm not 100% sure if it's 20 pound, but no, if you look close there, I mean, I don't think I lost one bead on this, which is, it was pretty awesome. But the beads are pretty small. And when they're that tightly roped in, there's a couple things, in the past, when I had a necklace that was too short, this has happened a couple times because you're like, oh, that'll be plenty, and then you get down to it and maybe it pulls or something and it's not long enough or it's not what you wanted. Sometimes I don't go back and redo them. Sometimes I'll just cut it, burn it, and then I have this length and I'll use it for procs in my photos for my beads because you can put it on, you can look in a photo. It doesn't have to be like, no one knows if it's a finished necklace or not. They don't care. I mean, it's just, you're going for the aesthetic of the photo and to give people ideas of what is possible. So I've used those, like I think of it as like necklace scraps. So oh, I see. Carolyn says, my mermaid pearl dip arrived. So pretty. I'm thinking of leather and pearls, a Janice design from Bead Shop. That sounds like a good idea. I love Janice's designs. Janice has a very good eye when it comes to color and texture and pearl. She just has a good eye in general. I love her designs. In fact, I got a worksheet that I was looking through. It was pretty interesting of in Fresno when we did the retreat. And it was pretty interesting of like how to build a necklace from like, I believe it was like using components and how to make something. It's like similar if you've ever gone to a quilting retreat where they'll say, or a knitting retreat, or they'll push you to, because a lot of times people have a comfort zone of color. I know I do. I think Azalea knows my comfort zone of color and my comfort zone. My comfort zone of choice.
Gray and rainbow, labradorite.
Gray and rainbow. So it's labradorite and like black opal colors, tourmaline. Those, they're my favorite. Oh, Lorraine says Marty looks sharp. Azalea, look at this cat.
The kind of glare with his fat cheek making his eye close.
He's very photogenic. Oh, that was a denied. Did you see that? Did you see that? Like I leaned in and he wasn't having it. That's because I didn't give him enough of this right here. Look at his face. He knows what's going to happen. Look at Zoya. Look at
neural activation.
A neural activation. He loves these. You'll see. He becomes a different cat, Red. A completely different cat. And watch this. Watch how he can. Look at how powerful his abs are.
His abs.
Look at this. How powerful. He can stand on his hind foot.
Oh, wow. He's making a mess. Look at him face. The paws. Handsome. That's a good looking cat.
Like he suddenly has like, but he kind of made his face. Marty made your face so messy with all that ferocious looking. He's acting a little bit like he didn't get anything to eat. There's nothing in there, but he's going to keep acting like it's I starve him. I assure you, he is not starving. Oh, hello, Connie. Connie's our neighbor. Hi, ladies and Marty. It's hard to focus on what you're saying with him in the back. That I could see that. Carolyn says Janice used 1mm leather, 4 strands with ring-linked pearls and metal shadows. That sounds like I can perfectly picture that. Oh, hello. Debbie says hello, everyone. Hello, friends. Hello, Lorraine. Hello, my friends. I've been going through my collection today. I'm gonna flip the camera over. Get that ready. I'm going to turn this light on. Let's see if I can get the light on. Like do this. Can I do this without looking? Yeah. I was trying to get it high, up. All right. Get the light going. And let's see. Oh, the pearl dip. Pearls look good with leather. I would agree with that. That's like the
Sundance.
Sundance is a lot of pearls. Although I would not say that they were the first people to do that. I feel like that was a popular one. You know, we were watching, and I don't know how much of this. I think does anyone remember vintage like J. Jill and Smith and Hawken from like the late '90s? We were watching Rosemary and Thyme. That's a British murder mystery where. Okay,
these two ladies work together as like their own little like what's it called? Freelance gardening business. Freelance landscaping and gardening, and then they solve murder mysteries at their contracts.
I told Zoe, I said, listen, this is a good show. It's another one of our comfort shows where it's like really pretty, but there's murder.
There's a mystery.
Azalea, this is showing up black. Why is this black? Can you guys see it? Azalea's phone is working. Okay. Today, Sarah on Softwood said you should charge more for your components, mushroom anchor class. Oh, that's nice of Sarah. How come it turned on now, Wildar?
Because the screen timed out. It was on for so long.
Oh. All right, so this is the broken one here. This is what I wanted to do, is show how to do a little repair. This is the what we did last on Sunday is we made this knotted necklace with the Healer's blend of stones, and you know what, I made it pretty long. It can double. And so what I thought I was going to do is put this on it. This is called the Folkloric Snake. This is on the website. I have a handful of them left from the last batch of coins that I did. Now, I don't know if I can make a 10 more, so that might be a limited thing. I'm hoping not, because I make them out of this variety that's thin and has this look, is bronze clay. There's a couple ways I can use this mold, and one way is to push sheet wax into the mold. It gives it a different look too. It's a little thicker, and that's a cast way, and so the details are a little flatter. This one has, let's get in there if you can see it. This has a lot more detail. It's very, like you can see all the leaves and things in there. So we're going to put that on. That's a goal. So I might use some of these guys to make the, might want something a little smaller. That's kind of big, huh? A little bit big. Oh, I see Vera says, what cord do you use to crochet these necklaces? Well, this is, what is this? This is Ceylon or Eslon. I don't know if there's much of, I think it's a trade name. Is that correct, Zoya? I think that's correct.
What?
That's a trade name, right? Ceylon, Eslon. We talked about that. Like we were going to go and find it.
Yeah, it's usually labeled like that.
That's like a brand. I can't remember who owns what, but
no, I don't
here
think
it
it's
is.
Maybe it is. Well, look,
so,
I have this.
Because I think it's not, like, I think Eslon, which brand is this? Is it Eslon or is it Ceylon? They just sound the same.
Well, I don't know what this is some stuff that we sell. And it says Ceylon microcord. This is on the website.
Okay, so we have some of this on the website.
We have 3 colors right now.
This
Yeah,
is the
that-
micro. So the micro.
That's good for the crochet, right? That's perfect for that.
What is Azalea? Michelle's asking, do you have a link for the folkloric snake? Maybe you can find that for us and drop that in there for us. That'd be nice. Okay. So this is the cord that I use.
Well, you won't be able to look at the computer because I'm going to need it.
That's okay. That I use to make these guys right here. And you can see it's very, very fine. And I use the thicker. This here was this. These two made this double. So when you have a great big hole, like these have nice big holes. And like on Sunday, I did this tutorial. So if you want to see this, go on YouTube. And that was this previous Sunday. You can see how to do this. And it's pretty easy. It's pretty fun. It's my favorite way to knot. I feel like it's the easiest and less complicated way to knot, where you don't have to pre-cut anything. And it's the same is true for this style of, this is the micro cord. It's also a nylon, and it's what I use for this. All right, let me see what I'm doing here. Okay, so for this, I have a choice to make, and that choice is, you can see I left a really long tail, right? Super long. It's like, how long? You don't need to make it this long. Let's just measure and see how long I made it. 21 inches. Man, I was thinking ahead. I don't think you need to make it that long. But that I do that so I can, if I want to add something else, if I want to make this ultra long and wrap around my neck like 6 times, I could do that. And this, when you wrap it, it has a pretty cool effect. It looks like, to me, it reminds me of like, you guys remember that movie, The Dark Crystal, where Audra has her studio and there's that thing in the background, or that thing that they're always dodging with all the planets? This is like that. So it's like a plant. I don't even know what you call that kind of contraption. But when they're like this, it kind of showcases them, and it gives you a different look than when they're all kind of pushed together. The knotting is different. This was popular, I feel like, in the 2000s, early 2000s. This style was really all over the place. And like J. Jill had some really very beautiful examples of this type of knotting. If you guys remember when it was like a lot of velvet and tunics, and this looked really good. And I was like, we need to bring that back because it was. Oh, Donna says Ceylon and Eslon manufactured in the same factory. Ceylon is a brand name for caravan. Eslon is brand name for beadsmith. Okay. I'm going to forget that almost immediately. But thank you for sharing that, because I can never remember. Ceylon for caravan. Eslon for beadsmith. But it's the same thing. So remember that. Although, you know what? I had never seemed to. I was just holding that gray cord, and I must have set it aside. But anyway, now I'm looking for. I got all this stuff out, and then I'm like, I don't even want to use it now that I look at it. I don't know if that ever happens to anybody else, but that's like, as soon as I pick what I want, and I'm like, no, I don't know if I want that. Something better. I want something different. I'm like, stop being bratty.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, Thornton, stop getting up to no good. Oh, this is useful. So this is a thread. This is good if you're stringing on some beads and you want to hold them in place, you can keep them from falling off with this. I got this from Kate at beadshop.com, and you can do like this. Say you put on some, I'm gonna get out some of these little, what you call it, Charlottes. Maybe there's some Charlottes in here. Let me get my glasses up. Now I'm deciding, I'm looking for something to go with this. And I want something to have, number one, it has to have a big enough hole. Here's the challenge. So it has to have a big enough hole to fit through 2 layers and not be too big or over, like it goes over the knots. So that's pretty specific. That's why I pulled this, because I thought that might work. But now that I look at them, look how big that hole is. I feel like that would swamp this hole. Maybe not. That might look good, actually. I might use it. But I have these choices as well. I like these, but that wouldn't fit. That's part of it, is what will fit, you know? That's part of the challenge when you're making these. And I like these, but they're a little, I think they would also swallow up the knots. Michelle says, it's kind of weird and confusing. I would never remember that either. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's always worked the same for me. So I've never really paid attention because it just feels like the same. Let me test this. I've got 2 projects going here, 3 projects. Let's see. I'm going to try and get it all done. I've been going 21 minutes. I put a challenge to myself. It's like, how fast can I repair this or finish the toggle or finish the clasp, I mean. All right, let's test it. Is this too big of a... No, those are good. So what I'm checking for is to make sure that the hole is not going to swamp the bead. Now, I don't have to put any beads. I could just knot it. But I like it to look more finished. So there's a couple of things that you can do. You could do macrame. And one way I like to do is I separate the legs here, or the threads, I mean. And you can then take... Where'd that thing go? It's like my refrain. Where'd that thing go? I was always like, what thing? This thing here. Oh, hello, my friend. Clem's on. Hello, Clem. You know what I've stopped saying? I just remembered what I used to say. I used to say, what's shaking, bacon? I don't know why I just thought of that.
That's goofy.
I know. I haven't said that in years, but all of a sudden it popped into my head. And why is this random? I was looking for this earring. I couldn't find it earlier. All right, so one way that you can do it is do a macrame stitch and like separate these, and you can macrame down and kind of make a fishtail where you go do you know what that's called, Lizza? You've been doing macrame. So when you have the 2 strands and you're finishing it off, does that have a name for that kind of stitch where you do one side, then you do the other, and it kind of looks like a fish, it looks like a fishtail braid? And it's like makes like a smooth small braid. I can't remember what that's called.
Chevron, maybe?
I don't know if it's called a chevron, but you just take 2 pieces.
I don't know.
So there's one way to do it where it will make a spiral. So there's a couple ways. So depending on how you knot them, you can get a twisted spiral. And I think if you swap it.
The twisted spiral is like a Chinese, that's called like a Chinese ladder or something like that.
I know. I can never remember that. I can never remember. Michelle says, quick question for Zoe. What is the preferred payment method that's better for you all? I would say if you're on, thank you, Wendy. Wendy says square knot. That was the one I was looking for. So square knot is the one that you can get the fishtail. Kate always gets it exactly right. Whenever I do it, there's 2 things happening. So what I usually do is I'll double the, either I'll do the square knot or I'll do the one where it's like you're spiraling it. Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to use these beads, but it was a possibility. Maybe I'll use a couple of them. You just never know. So if you want to braid this or macrame it, you would attach it to the end. So what I'm going to do is first off, I'm going to set this one over here. I'm going to get to one thing at a time. So I was showing this. I'm going to put the clasp on that. That's going to happen. I'm going to repair this first since it's right under my fingers. Do one thing at a time. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of this. And I like this color. It's kind of, I'm not hiding that it's going to be a repair. I might go with a different color though. I kind of want to do pink, but I don't see pink. I don't have a pink. For whatever reason. Why don't I have pink? Maybe I have a different color. Oh, I do have pink. Here we go. You're probably like, why pink? Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm not going to hide the fact that there's a repair. PayPal is the least good for us.
Because, really?
Yeah, because they wait. They have a waiting thing on there. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about that color for repair? I think it's fine. We'll do that. And it's tricky because you do not want to, I don't know, that might be, or teal would be even better. I don't want to hide that it has a repair. It's kind of like a wabi-sabi technique, or like how you show your work, or gold. Gold would be the ultimate. I don't think I have gold. Gold thread would be really pretty, or red, actually. I've changed my mind 6 times on this same live. All right, I found the thing. This is what I'm going to do. Wendy says, it's called a half hitch. I think I'm not square or not. Yeah, I can never remember. That's so terrible. I'm like, I use this stuff. I can never remember the name. And I always need a refresher. All right, so when you're repairing these, what you want to make sure you have is an anchor. Sometimes I'll go back like 3 beads. So if it pulls, if you don't have one of these beads to hang on to, it could slide right off, even if you melt it. So this is nylon and it can be melted. So this is, if you look closely, you can see that was melted and it stretched and pulled it and broke. It was already one melted together piece. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to kind of briefly show this. I'm going to knot around it and I'm going to fold back and cover this tip. I'm going to start on one end and make a knot. Just a simple overhand knot. And I'm going to hide it. I feel like 3, it's not going to escape 1 even, but I'm going to make sure that I knot it tight. I feel like 3 would be even better. So let's do that. And these are just going to be simple knots. And I'm going to cut like, see, this time you need to cut it, unfortunately. I usually don't like to cut it because I want to give myself options. But here you need to cut it because you need to be able to get around it. These cute. Where did we get these, Azalea? These little tiny copper scissors. Wasn't that place idea. That was oh, I remember. Do you remember there was that little fiber place, that Echo Village. What was it called? It was like where they had a manufactured yarn in here in Asheville. It was like unreal. It was like, but that yarn was like $40 skein. That was crazy. Okay, so a knot, simple knot. And also this one, I treated it so that it's a little stiffer on one end. I'm gonna lay it down. And this is what I was telling Azar. I was like, this was tricky. And I usually have to have my full brain cells like focused. No messing around with like having a show on, none of that talk. So I knotted that tightly. There are 3 beads here. And so I have 1 knot. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some very simple, like a pattern, I'm going to work my way through all of these knots, or to knot all the way till I get to this point. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm recreating the necklace. And when I get to this point, when it's the second side, when I add it, I kind of want to melt it together a little bit. I don't know if that's going to be good or not, but part of me wants to do that. There isn't enough on here, because usually what I would say is you need to like go track back a couple. You need to cut away some of this hard material here that that's just hanging on, because otherwise it kind of just bulges. So we'll trim that off. Do the same side. You see it's melted, and usually what I try to do is go back and forth when I trim it or when I'm ending the necklace so that it's like a couple layers. But sometimes as it gets worn, sometimes the beads can eventually wear away, especially if it's a sharp metal bead. Okay, I didn't make this long enough. What you need to do, I forgot this other step. Is you need to make these long. I don't know why I made that so short. It's like, Thornton, wake up. Okay, don't do what I just done diddly did, which was not make this one side longer. Because usually you make it about even. One side could be a little bit longer, like 6 inches. And the other side could be longer. But if you do what I did and you tighten it up, it's no big deal because then it's pretty easy to just kind of pick at it till you get it right. And so in this case, I'm going to make it, I'm estimating now. Forgot this little detail. It turns out you need room to, if you're going to knot, you need to be able to knot. Okay, here we go. Start over. All right, there we go. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is try to attach these so that they are at least somewhat, like you could use, I'm going to melt them. Where did I put that lighter? This music is very flash dance right now.
It's pushing you to work faster.
It is kind of pushing me to work faster. I'm like, gotta get this. Because I wanted to show some of the stuff we, so I'm going to try and give this a little bit of a bond. You can use it. This is a tricky part here. And I was telling Azalea, I was like, I am loath to do this part. Now, what I'm going to attempt to do, where's that pair of pliers here? Is I'm going to get this hot and then squish them together to kind of make a temporary, because I want them to be together. So I'm going to get this, see if I can do this. And I was telling her, I was like, I am dreading trying to make that because it's really kind of hard to do. I'm trying to match these up. I don't know how. Try it again. So close. It might not work. It might be where I just have to join them and then there's like that place in the middle, which I hate. So what I usually try to do is do something like a crimp at this point. Put a crimp or something, or knot it, or a bead or something that I can smash. What I saw earlier when I was going through this, and I'm going to just get one out and try it. Because I want to make one of these into my crimps to kind of help stabilize it. I couldn't melt that together. It didn't do what I thought it would do, so I'm going to use one of these. So part of this, whenever I do repairs, which I hate doing, by the way, usually I'm like, oh, well, it had a good run. Move on. Like I don't usually mess with it because it's more work to repair than it is to just start over. But sometimes, this one is a nice necklace that I like, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to repair it. Okay, there's one side. I've stuffed that in there. You can glue it. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to give something that I can stabilize it. Okay, I'll open it up a little bit. These are brass from Africa. These little brass beads. They're supposed to look like hill tribe, but they're made out of brass. So I'm just opening that up a little bit, just a hair. And I'm going to turn this into like a makeshift crimp. Azalea says, I have a thing here that says it's frozen. Is there any way, is that an issue? You guys see, is there anyone else that is experiencing, I'm open this up a little bit more. This is a tube that instead of melting it together because it wouldn't stick. So I'm trying another tack. Sometimes you've got to do a couple different things. If one way doesn't work, you can do another. This is so far pretty tedious. All right, I'm going to get it. Don't worry. I'm determined now.
Lord of mercy.
What is it?
This music is just crazy.
Yeah,
I keep changing it, and it's like changing it to another even more intense song.
Mm-hmm. And I know it's like making me nerve wracked because I'm trying to get this like at this point.
We've had this on before.
Yeah. You guys are probably like, what the heck is she doing? So I could glue it or put a crimp. Because what I'm trying to do is cross this bridge here. And so my goal is to make something that's thick enough that can hold it. You see what I'm trying to do here? So if I have something, there's not a lot of room, and that's what the problem here. Unless I pull back, I'm trying to do as little of that as possible. Now, if this were knit, you could just take this one and pull it through and then glue it. So I might be able to do that. Let me see if I can force this open and then string the other one around it and then melt it in place. That might work. Let me see if I can open it up. It's hard to see. It's something to dig in there. I know this is awfully like I'm fighting for my life to get this thing. You guys are probably like, why bother? Oh, Terry says, yep, it looks like it dropped Facebook. It did that to Kate last week. Karen says, zap using a toothpick. That's a good idea. I don't think I have any zap. I have fray check, and I have a little bit of I've got another thing. I'm opening up this side, so I'm gonna try and push it through. It's so fiddly. All right, here we go. There we go. It's as fiddly as it looks. You guys are like, okay, I won't be doing that myself. Because what I'm doing right now is I'm grabbing a hold of the end of this and trying to tug it through this other loop. And there isn't much to tug through, so I'm using like what is left here, and it's like 1 millimeter. So if you can pull back, let me see if I can pull back a couple stitches, like just 1 or 2 stitches would make that a lot easier.
That video ran out of chances or switching. That video ran out of chances. I kept skipping it and it kept going to another even more intense one. I was like, all right, that's it.
It's done. Like too exciting.
Switch. New video.
Okay, so I grabbed a hold of that. Let's see if I can get that through there. All right, yay, success. Okay, so I got that one looped into place. Now I'm going to burn it so it can't go anywhere. I'm going to melt it together, which I feel like bonding it is better than glue because it's turning it into one material. And that will help stabilize it. So hopefully that is the truth of this. I'm bending it back. Okay. All right, so there I glued them I melted them together. Carolyn says, can you make a clasp loop with one end? Yes, I could. That was one way, but I didn't want to do that with this because I did not want this to be, I just wanted it to be clasp free and just to quickly go over my neck. That's what I was hoping for. All right, get this positioned. All right, that took only like 10 minutes to do that one thing. So boy, I'm gonna have to do this to the other one too. So I'm gonna go in the front and I'm gonna knot. I'm gonna try and make like a wrapped. Okay. Completely like There's got to be a faster way to do it, but I don't know the faster way to do that. It's just back and forth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're showing everybody that some techniques are tedious, and some types of necklaces are like expensive for a reason, I guess. They take a lot of time to go and practice and fix that stuff.
Well, it's, this took me a while to make, so it took several hours to make. So it is worth it because even putting a clasp on it takes forever. That's like, to me, it's like I don't want to put clasps on usually, but this is still still look good when I'm done. And I'm not trying to cover up that it's a repair. It's kind of like part of the necklace's history,
Yeah.
But it is fiddly, I will say. There's another way that I was looking at it, which is you could sew a piece of something there, like another piece of fabric, like a thin piece of silk. Silk is pretty strong. So if I glued it, I could cover the glued end with silk. Uh-huh. Yeah, pay the price if you put. Well, this doesn't. If you get it hung on something, like if you jump and then you're wearing your necklaces, like if it were soft flux, your beads would all be in the bed because your clasp broke or whatever. And sometimes it doesn't break, and then you can get injured. So you don't want to ever make it where it's so strong that you injure yourself.
That you get strangled out.
You don't want to be strangled by your own work because it's on like. So I'm going over and under. I don't know if that is clear on this, but what's happening is I'm just coating the core necklace with the new strand of cord, the red cord. And plus it makes it a tiny bit easier to see what I'm doing. When you have a contrasting color, it's much easier to see. If this were black, that makes it kind of hard to see. Or if it's like the same color as this brown, then I don't know. I don't think it looks as tidy. So I'm starting. You might be like, why is she starting so far back from the glued part or the melted part? It's because I don't want this to just pull free. So I knotted it like 4 knots in front of each stone, or the stone here. So I'm going to go over this stone now, so it won't just slide right off. I'm just going back and forth on each side and doing little knots, securing it. And once you get a rhythm, you can see now I'm kind of moving a little faster. I'll be done here in a second. But I'm going to do the same thing to the other necklace that needs to be like reinforced because there's a thin spot from the metal beads. You could also use wire. I've made some repairs with wire, and that's worked pretty good. That works particularly good because it's fast, because then you can then take the wire and pinch it, and then the wire is acts like a crimp, and that's another way. The only thing about that method is that sometimes the little extra piece of wire can kind of annoy your neck if it kind of works loose. So this is a smoother connection point. I was actually looking at this. I'm like, where is the part that I need to... I was like, where's the repair? Oh, it's right here, I think. Since I melted it, it's hard to see where I need to, how far I need to go. Karen said, I had to come to YouTube. Facebook, what are you doing to us? It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, if it happened to Kate also, maybe, Facebook is always a pain for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of just classic Facebook behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Meta does not want to make things easy for you for some reason. And they don't make it easy if you want to stream to Instagram either. They give you like all these goofy steps that you have to go and follow just to get the stream on.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
Yeah, when we were working with Jen over at Cherry Tree, it was a little bit tedious to try and get that to work.
I know, because they were determined. They wanted Instagram.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not my favorite dealing with that.
Can you guys hear my my marker scribbling? I've been scribbling this whole time.
Guess who's going to be 21 tomorrow?
Oh, man.
21 years old. That's right. Little daughter who's going to be 21 tomorrow.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
We were talking about taking a little mini trip out to Folly Beach or one of those beaches out by Charleston.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, it might be fun.
It
We
will
stayed
be
at a little bed and breakfast. Not bed and breakfast. What was it? Airbnb.
Airbnb.
It was so cute. It was so fun.
I remember it being reasonably priced too. It was good.
Okay, I think I'm at the point where the great conjunction. So I'm going to reinforce that part. Really, I should hit it with another drop of Zap. Maybe I'll do it on the outside. We'll see. I melted the two together. The two ends are melted. So this is going to reinforce that and keep it hopefully from coming apart. If it doesn't, the other way is what I mentioned, like wrapping it in another material, which I've done repairs with like a little piece of silk ribbon and just wrapped it and stitched it. And that looks cute. But when you have it on the super fine, sometimes it can look thick and chunky. And the fabric is really hard to do to get it to not look chunky. Although I will say that this is a very sturdy type of necklace. So even though I broke this one, I reared up like with my back into it. So it's not surprising that this had to, it snapped at the spot that it did. Because I think I saw like a bug or some kind of spider. And that's what made me jerk. Oh, Morphing Design says, Azalea, enjoy and celebrate doing something that brings you joy. Carolyn says, happy birthday.
Oh, thanks.
21. It's been a long time since I was 21.
Dang.
I don't remember what I did on my 21st birthday. I don't know that I did anything.
Really? Dang. It makes me feel a little better.
At that time, I had my nose in the grindstone.
Dang.
I was a little bit of an overachiever in my youth.
In your youth? You mean now?
Oh.
Today?
Oh, well.
Maybe that's just your thing.
Maybe. Oh, no, I remember. Listen, my friends took me to this, because it was the first time I could go to a bar. I remember this. I remember. There was this bar in downtown Columbus. I can't remember. There's a big clock on the wall. I don't remember the name of it. And it's funny. I don't remember who was there. But it was the first time I'd ever seen that I'd ever gone to a club that people were like stripping.
Why would they take you there?
I don't know, but it was a club that was all full of guys.
Oh my goodness.
And the man that was like performing, he was very handsome, very fit.
This is crazy work.
And I was like, you guys, what is this place? Like, and they're like, oh, it's just this, some of us girls like to come here. And I was like, all right. That's
okay.
Yeah, I know. It's different. But I was like, oh, let me get some singles. Well, that was a long time ago. But whenever I was like shaking the money, you know how you do. Like I'd seen it on TV. And when it got to like my turn to shake the money at this person, I can't believe I'm sharing this story. It's so crazy. The guy was like, "Aren't you cute? Are you sure? Are you old enough to be in here?" Stop the whole shebang to like be like, "Listen, did you? How did you even get in here? You got fake ID or something?" Because I look probably like 12 years old.
People tell me that too.
Like shaking this, and I was like so mortified. My friends laughed their head off. They're so delighted by my embarrassment. My friend Weasel was like, "Yeah, it just figures. We have to get an ID check right here."
Right here. That's
Right now,
crazy.
they're gonna ID check, spot check right in the middle of the show. Are we sure that this person is 21? Yes. Maybe I need to go home. And then right after, I was so embarrassed that we had to leave. And I was like, I have work to do anyway. So I worked on my color concept. That was how I spent my 21st.
That's funny.
Karen says, how did you join the ends on the original necklace? Knots. I did a single knot and I melted it. So somewhere in here, and I'm going to go back over this a couple times. Oh my God, this has been taking me since like 51 minutes. I've been working on this. So note to self, y'all, a repair can be time consuming. Right here. You can see that. We can really see that repairing that is, and I didn't even get to, I was going to put a clasp on it. Thank you all for being so patient and watching me fumble around trying to do like 6 different types of repair on one necklace. So I did try to at first, what was the first thing I tried? I tried to knot it, and that I didn't make it long enough. There wasn't enough to go back unless I unwound like an inch or so. And I didn't want to make it shorter because then I wouldn't be able to get it over my head. And I wanted that to be the case. Now, I did see a comment that said, could you attach a clasp? So you can. The only thing is you are still running into the same problem of not having enough. So that's whenever you hear me say, leave yourself a little bit of extra. That's what I'm referring to. Is because sometimes you can't, it's hard to add on because then you see we're doing this because I didn't leave enough when I broke it. So that's why there wasn't enough. But say, like this necklace, for example. So this one, here's an example of exactly what I'm talking about. So I didn't leave enough for this. So now I'm at the point like, okay, since I'm here, this is only like 2 inches. This is not enough to go back through here and knot this. So now I have to figure out what is going to happen. Can I add another bead to this? It's not long enough to go through because I already tried. And it's not long enough to wrap and fix this into place. So I'm kind of at a stalemate until I come up with a solution. So remember, whenever you hear me talking about leave yourself enough room, this is what I'm talking about because I did not leave myself enough room right here. And look how it looks. So I have to come up with a solution. So this ruby slice was going to be the clasp for this. The only thing is it was sharp, so it kind of trimmed that for me. Like I didn't mean to do that when I added a metal bead. So see, that's what the point. Whenever you hear me say that, just remember, now I'm at this point and I have to come up with another solution to fix it. That's for another day, I think, of trying to fix. This is, we're already having enough fun trying to get this one in 1 hour of repair. But I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can see it. From my viewpoint, it's like a nice bright red or vermilion. So that's what they call this color, I think. And I'm just going flipping it back and forth. Here's a close-up of it. I don't know how you feel about that, if that looks ugly or not. But it's melted in the middle where I melted it together. And I pulled one end through the loop of another. And I'm going to go back over this. So see, when I get to this end, I'm going to add a couple more knots up till this sapphire. And then I'm going to go right back over it and then I might do it again just for my own safety, I guess. That bird distracted me. I was like, what kind of bird is that making that noise like that? I got an app on my phone that can identify the different birds. Because then I'm like, I think I can identify it in them usually. Sometimes I'm right, but a lot of times I'm like, I didn't even know that bird existed. And there's a lot of different kinds of birds around here, that's for sure. All right, I'm going to go around this side. So, boy, that took a minute. And I was going to show some of the stuff that we had left over from the other night. We're going to put them on the website. So that's a plan. I think some of it's already on the website. Our friend Carrie requested a silver floral kit, and I thought now that if you would like one in all silver, it's not going to be a cheap date because the average price of each link is like $26, $27. So they're not super light, and it's silver. And silver is, being the queen of metals, is not inexpensive, but it's also not gold. So there's that. It was kind of weird. Yesterday, I told Isaiah, I said, I didn't get into it with this person, but I was at the Mineral Society meeting yesterday, and one of the members was like, do you know, I was showing some of the things that I made, and they're like, what's the point, because that's kind of a cheap rock. I mean, people that like you, it's cheaper to buy the beads than buy the rough to cut that. So you're wasting your time. And I was like, well, I just wanted to do it. So I wanted to see what the stone was because I found the stone and it was fun, to go and dig it up and like just the experience of spotting it and then taking it home and then washing it and then taking it and carving it was kind of fun. The whole process was enjoyable to me. And I wasn't necessarily like, ooh, I found myself a diamond or a sapphire. It's going to be worth a fortune when I'm done. That is not what I'm trying to do. So if that were the case, I wouldn't have bothered because it was like a 5 cents worth of I don't even know what stone this is. I'll show you here in a second when I get around to it. There's a little bit of a buckle because I really tightened it, but it will smooth out. So here's what I have so far of my repair. And I'm going to go over it a few more times to patch up so that it's a continuous length and you don't see like that. See those little bald spots? I don't like the look of that. So I'm going to go over it and over it and over it. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Kathy says, ladies, show the green girl some love and hit that like button. It's free.
Thank you.
Morphing Designs, can you name that bird in 3 chirps? No. No, I cannot. I could guess. I'm like, I could tell a crow, and I can tell a blue jay because it's kind of a similar-ish sound.
I love a raven. I was seeing those videos of that guy again today on Instagram. There's this dude, this British dude.
I think his name is Nick.
Yeah, Nick something. And he's got these like ravens that were like used in movies or in performances or something, and now they're like retired actor ravens, and they talk and they go tickle tickle, and they have like deep voices, and then they have an accent. It's so
they're British.
They have British accents, and he's like, oh, your London accent is showing, and it's so cute. It's my favorite account on Instagram. I love watching that dude talk to his ravens.
Terry says, would you add another section or 2 throughout the necklace to simulate a random pattern? I could do that, but I don't know if I will. I might. I see what you're talking about. I've done that on different things. So now I'm tracking back. I'm going to secure one more because I can't resist. And then I'm going to work my way back forward. Yeah, you could do that. That's for sure. Because the little piece of red kind of reminds me of, have you guys, it inevitably comes up. And anytime you're in a knitting group or crochet where someone says, you add the mistake because you don't want it to be too perfect.
I've never heard anybody say that to me in my life.
Well, listen,
That's
they say
crazy.
that in a knitting club because you're bound to make one mistake. And they say, like, that comes from the Amish, where they say you have to have one mistake and you add one because um, only the Lord is perfect.
Goofy.
So
Sorry.
that's one thing. So you could be like, so this is my way of acknowledging that there's nothing that is super perfect unless you're talking about Marty, who is
Facts.
super perfect. And so I'm going to try and get this so that I'm like really making it, and I can wear it, so that'll be good. I'm excited. I haven't been able to wear this necklace because I broke it, but I want to reinforce it. You could reinforce this as much as you want at this point. Now if you felt it, it feels nice and stiff right here, this little 1-inch section. And I melted it together. You could use glue. Zap would work perfectly. I just used a lighter to kind of pull one loop through another, and then I took the end and I melted it into the necklace itself, so that it kind of smushed together. And I wouldn't count on that. Like I would never say, "Oh, they're fixed," because that's kind of a weak connection. I would consider that a weak connection. So what I would do, or what I am doing, is I'm going back over that same spot that I just did that part. I'm going right back over it again. Like I took it to this side, now I'm going to do one and cover up all the bald spots. And that way I have a little strip of this red here, but it's like a little 1-inch piece. Let's see how it looks when you see it. I don't think it's very noticeable as far as like if you're like looking at it and you're like, what's that? I don't think you would even, I don't know. I don't think it's noticeable. Oh, Morphing Design says, indigenous people say similar. The imperfection allows negativity, bad spirits to escape. And Donna says, we used to say the mistake was our signature. Oh, Terry says, minerals are a spicy topic. I love Bumblebee Jasper. I sure wish it wasn't so unsafe. Is it kind of like malachite? I don't know much about Bumblebee Jasper. Let me see. I missed a couple comments. All right, Carolyn says, now you know what people to avoid at the mineral meeting. Many people have strong opinions. Carolyn, I don't think it was. People do have strong opinions, and they're coming at it. And they said to me, I was like, I just like this. And people have been telling me all my life that there's like, you can't do this because of this, or you can't do that because the market, you can't have a bead business because that's crazy. Who would have a bead business? How can you make money? Like, don't be an artist. It's too much of a risk. And they asked me, they're like, what do you plan to do with these? Because I showed this. This is what I had on the table. They looked at this, and this person is a very generous, really kind person. They gave me this piece of jasper from the I think it's Oahe mountain. I think it's Oahe. It sounded like Oahu, but this beautiful piece of jasper they gave me, and they saw this tin sitting there. They're like, "What are you going to do with this?" And I was like, and so I spent half the day carving this. What turns out to be like they tested it, and it tested the same hardness as calcite, but I was convinced this is green garnet, right? I have green garnet. It looks exactly like this, but it also has the same hardness as green garnet because it was really hard. At first, I thought it was fluorite. And fluorite's not a super expensive stone. So this isn't an expensive stone, but it took me like 2 hours to make this. And I don't even have it drilled because I was afraid it would crack. I'll probably do something like, I was like, I don't know. I might drill it. I might not. I just enjoyed the process. And they were looking at them and they're like, yeah, I guess you get money for this. This is something because it's a really high quality piece of lapis. And I was like, they're like, so what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I'll make a cord and I'll put them on, maybe something pretty like this, and then have a beautiful one of a kind bead in silver or gold. And they were like, do you know how much gold is? They're like, you can do this as a hobby, but don't give up, your day job or whatever. And I just sighed and I was like, yeah, I know. Thank you for your insight. But I'm just going to, I just like doing this. So I'm not going to try and get rich. I was like, I'm not trying to get rich in general because to me, that's not the important part of like being a human on this earth is amassing like way more than I need, I just want to be comfortable. I don't need to have like, you know, 10 times what other people would have. It's not that to me, that's not like the point. So I get their meaning, like they're a vendor and they sell minerals. They were like, you make more money selling that as a mineral stone than carving it because no one's going to pay you your time. And I was like, well, thank you, for your input, but I'm going to keep doing it. So, and if no one wants it, guess what? It's mine. I don't have to, it is not my goal in life to just make for the purpose of selling, but to make because I want to make, I want to create. There's plenty of things. If I just wanted to make money, there's a lot of other things I could do. There's a multitude of things that make more money than like. I mean, this for this example. How much could you sell a necklace that you put so much time into? And sometimes folks don't understand. But there's also folks that do understand. So maybe that's not your customer. So anyway, eventually I would like to make like one of a kind necklaces and like amulets that I find the stones, I carve the pieces, I make the cord. The whole thing is like something really, like really thoughtfully made. And that's the goal. I want to make things that are beautiful, that folks can feel my love for the stones and the process. Because you know what? That's the part of art is process, I feel like. Is it all about the end result? Not always. I got tons of sketchbooks that say otherwise. It's like some of this is not very good, but is it that something is good? Does it have to have value as a finished thing? I don't know. I would say, we don't when we listen to music, we don't say, well, I was listening for a mistake. Or I was listening to see if that was, music or whatever you created. We just enjoy it for the moment. All right, so you can see that that's getting the bright color from Bumblebee Jasper comes from arsenic. Oh, wow. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I do not collect much Bumblebee Jasper. It's just not on my radar, Like some things you're attracted to, and then some things you're not. Like I love ocean jasper more. I like the look of Bumblebee, but I have never been like, ooh, I'm gonna cut that. So I can keep going on this, but I would like to show a couple other things. So this is almost done. I'm gonna take it back. If I were to pull this, I don't know if you can see it, but it's nice and there's a nice thickness here. I don't think this will come apart anytime soon, but you can see the couple of bald spots in there where I'm going to take that, and that's where it's completely wrapped. I think it looks good. I mean, that will make it where this has another life. And one thing I will say that I like to do is sometimes I'll make a little pom-pom, or I'll make something like I'll leave that knot and maybe even add to it so it has a teeny little tassel, and that's kind of like part of that part, like a little bit of the detail of the necklace. Like it has become a part of this piece's story. I don't know. I just like things to have a story in general. Like I found these in a crate. This was part of that collection, and these. So this was the stone in question that they're like, why bother? So this is not an expensive rock. It's probably fluorite. But you can see there's some interesting. I was thinking about either drilling it up here or not. I just wanted to shape it and see what was on the inside. So look at this one. Isn't that pretty? This carved like glass. I don't know. I thought it was really weird. When I saw the pieces, I was like, it's so. I wish I had one that wasn't carved so you could see the difference. This was like double what this is right here. It was a way big piece. And the same with this, was a lot bigger. And there was a lot of this kind of druzy, which is this crystally. I don't know if you can see that, if you can peek in there, but that's a divot, and it's all filled with little tiny crystals. We live at the bottom of this hill, or at the top of this hill, and there's a fire department at the bottom of the hill. Sorry. This one has a lot of druzy too. You see it right there. But it kind of looked like this kind of candy to me. Anyway, I just wanted to shape them, even though they look like tumbled stones. And I spent all that time shaping them. I mean, I see their point. They're like, you're never gonna get paid. But you know what? It's not sometimes all about just getting paid. And I was like, I have some expensive stones. This is an expensive stone. This is called Imperial Topaz. And I don't know if you can see in there, but it has a really beautiful, this is natural and uncut. This is how it grows. And it has, if you can see this in real life, it has like glitter in there. It's so pretty. I've not been able to bring myself to cut it. I just like to look at it. It's really pretty. Anyway, my friend that has an Oregon opal mine has some, let me see, some of this, look at this jellyish stuff. This is actually a strand I got from, this is pretty. So Mike had collected this from our friend, why am I drawing a blank to my friend's name? Azalea.
Who?
No, Azalea. Leah Fairbanks' husband. Derek. There it is. Derek.
I would not have known that answer anyway.
Yeah, but you knew the daughter when you guys were like 5.
That's Tara.
Tara, when you guys cried and touched fingers as you were separated.
Yeah,
they ran that show at Beat 'em Button. There was, listen, when they were about 7, there was a whole gang of young girls and a couple of little boys that joined this. They were all behind my booth because I had the curtain and it was up against the wall. And I put an air mattress and a DVD player, and the kids had like their own like romper room back there with snacks. And they were getting all the kids of the show, and there's probably 10 strong. They're a gang walking through those aisles like they own the place. They were like, and you know what they did? They walked up to different booths looking, and each of them had like pocketfuls of free stones that they got. I was like, y'all are little bandits. Let me see what you have. So anyway, this is from Mike's collection. I bought this from Derek, his mine in Oregon Sunstone. And these are particularly good. I have a piece that I'm going to carve, and it has a jellyish center. Debbie says, where in Oregon? I live there. You know, I'm not exactly sure. And Carol says, I can see those blue tones stones in a jewelry designs. Which ones are blue? Oh, these are bluish ones. This is some, I found this in a creek over in Franklin. This is kyanite. Isn't that pretty? I did find some apatite, but it shattered. It wasn't very good. You couldn't carve it. But look at, check out, this is black opal right here. Isn't that neat? You know, when I show it, it doesn't show anything. I put some in some water because it was kind of dead looking. And so after I soaked it in water, opals are so weird. It's like a pet. I don't know if you can see any of the rainbow. Like, you can kind of see it in real life, but for some reason the camera doesn't show it. There, you can kind of see a little bit of it. In real life, it really has like a galaxy feeling. This one, I wanted to recut it, but that lip, I don't like how I left that. So I'm going to try again. Anyway, that was a good piece. All right, what was I going to show? I had some ideas. Oh, I don't know if I have time to put this clasp on there. I'll do it later. But this was the one. We have some of these folkloric snakes, And we also have, I don't know if you all see it, we had a lot of requests for this stick. Here it is in Shibuichi. This is the kit that we had going for our buddy Ann Gardan. And look how pretty this came out. I haven't finished it yet. I have been debating. I found this, look at this amethyst. I was going to, but look how good that looks with that bittersweet color. Isn't that pretty? So I have all those little things. I was going to tuck those in. I think that'd be delightful. And I have, this is for a custom necklace I'm working on. And the amethyst was top quality. It's so pretty. It's like such a pure color. Like a bluish and purpley. I don't know. Love it. But anyway, I had this going. I'm going to, we have these, I don't think we have any more in Shibuichi, but I made a bunch, or Azalea made a bunch in silver. So we have a bunch of those in silver. And by a bunch, I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a bunch for us. So if you're interested, it looks like this when you have it going. And I'm going to add something more, but I love it so much. I am, you know, when you have so many, like there's so much potential, you don't even know where to go. Like there's so many things you can do. It's almost like the sky's the limit, and then you're spoiled by choice that it just sits like this because I can't decide. Okay, so anyway, I have some of these in silver. They're on the website right now. Is that in the trunk show area?
Yeah.
And this, I'm going to show it again. This is a fish. It's my pearl scale fish named Popo. Look at his sweet face. So there's 2 of these that's on the website right now. Darling. I have 2 of these left that's in silver, and it has the mini, it's the tiny, I carved a little itty bitty salamander up in there. Isn't that cute? And I made these sticks for my necklace series. This is what I was trying to explain to that gal. And she was like, there's no money in jewelry right now. And I was like, I'm going to go lay down, but after I've made some necklaces. She was telling me, and I was like, really? Because I sold some necklaces just yesterday. So
it's like, just tell me your work is
that sometimes people, sometimes
tell me it's
people,
buns without telling me it's buns. Yeah.
Well, she was just trying to do me a solid. She was like, I just don't want you to quit your day job.
She didn't say, okay, I have a rant for this. I hate it when people tell you, like, they try to give you quote unquote advice and they're trying to help you, and then they end up just being like kind of mean and dissuade. And it's like, it should be like, oh, hey, that might be difficult, but I wish you luck, instead of like, hey, that's going to be difficult. Oh, well, I'm going to try. Oh, don't even bother trying. It's like, that's
don't even bother, because gold is
helpful.
Too expensive right now.
It's not. Like, it's super annoying. People want to do it to you all the time for whatever reason. They think it's so. I don't know who told them that was charming, but it ain't.
Yeah.
Nobody laughing.
I don't know.
Bunch of goobers.
Anyway, I want to make these. Like I'm just going to make what I want to make, Who knows? If it doesn't sell, then that doesn't sell. Sometimes things don't. I'm used to it. I've been making art, and I've been in the business for a really long time, so I know things sometimes don't sell. I was like, listen, are you serious right now? Because I have plenty of things that have never sold, so I'm not real worried about it. That's life. Sometimes you'll make art and it doesn't sell. But guess what? You will for sure not sell it if you don't try.
Yeah.
So don't let someone dissuade you, because you know what? Just make it. It's not always about whether or not you sell it. The important thing is that you're actually creating something, and that's what it is. So, oh, thank you, Debbie. Debbie says, wow, that focal in your hand is outstanding. Thank you. It's one of a kind. So anyway, I'm making these sticks to go along with this look. And a lot of these are hand carved that I carved myself, or they're like really precious. Like that's a Tahitian pearl. This is a really big, giant, that's a sapphire bead. And it has a little bit of a star. So that's something. Yeah, I know they meant well. And they were just saying, later she came up to me, she goes, I didn't mean to try to dissuade you. I just didn't want you to like try to get your hopes up and try to like make a business out of working with minerals when I have a lot of experience in this, and I can tell you it's not worth it to try and compete in this arena. But I don't. I I'm not in it. For me, it's not about like trying to make money and trying to like mark up 10 times and I don't know. I just want to make things that are beautiful, and that's my inspiration. Okay, so what I am weirdly amazed that I have any left over is this guy. So I have a few of these. I've had people request it. This is the what is this called? Serenity Moon Face. So this is one of them. I've made necklaces with this, and it's one of my best sellers. Whenever I have this on a piece, I sell it. And I've done necklaces where, like, the main way is with wire. And I was going to show it. Where's that necklace? I have one over here. Dang it. I don't know where it went. All right, this is not the one. Yeah, no, that's not it. This was in the book. And I made a chain. This is a chain with PMC. And you see, I was revisiting. This is like 10 years ago. And I like basically do the same types of connection point. So this is a similar piece to this. And it's a moth. This was in the book Enchanted Adornments. Came out pretty good. Although I accidentally broke this one. See where I broke it? This piece was a thin spot, and I can solder this closed, but what I'll probably do is just replace this whole link so I don't have to worry about there being a weak connection point. All right, so let's see what else. So anyway, this is a pretty good, for me, a good seller. I put this on different I like Marking Design says the more firsthand knowledge you have about the minerals, the jewelry you create with those hold much more energy because you understand how they connect to each other as well as everything else. I would agree with that. Look how pretty this looks with a crochet necklace background. All you have to do is put a jump ring. Actually, I would do more than a jump ring. I would do a wire wrapped bail with and I'd make it big so I could slide it off. Wouldn't that be really pretty? You know what I mean? Look how pretty that would be. Those little mini pearls. I think this looks good like that. I'm going to make a necklace, I see, because I have some extras, and it always sells well. So right about now is when I am making tons of jewelry, because the big crafty winter edition is coming up, and a couple of holiday shows I'm hoping to get into. So one thing that you can do, and I've done this a few times, is make a loop just like this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is a square wire loop, and if you do it where it comes through like this, it's really sweet. And you can make that and remove it and put it on a different chain. But what I've done is I've added beads to the wrap. So this is just a wrap double way. So you start at just a ring and then wrap each direction and then wrap the other direction. Could tuck in some really cool beads with a big hole because this is a thick fine silver wire. And then look at that when you do it. It'd be killer. And then you could put it on a ribbon. You could change it out. And this piece, I feel like a lot of people connect with it because it has that feeling of like you can have one side which is just a plain moon, or one that is where it has that kind of serene face. It's like kind of like a goddess or something, And so I think people connect with it on that way. I've also done this where I have wire wrapped, like a whole wire wrap necklace with very, very fine, like this is that Looky Dip is what I've left of that one, the smalls. And if you did that where you did wire wrap on mixed chain, one way that I like to do if I'm running, like if I want to get a necklace done, is like I'll have like bits of chain and it's all over my studio, bits of chain like this and links like this. And I will wrap them together in sections. I have a little back box of them. And if you get enough, some are like this when you trim it off of another necklace, you can just add them with different stones. Like these are really small. And I love doing that where it's kind of like this. That's what's in here so that you can add that in. And if it's on the chain, it just makes it so much cooler. So beautiful. Okay, so I have two or I think three of these left. And they're on the website. Look how pretty they are. It's one of my favorites. I made myself a necklace. I copied a picture from NASA of a photograph that was like super detailed of the moon. It was really fun to carve it. And there are three of these left on the site. I have these teeny tiny frogs. They're $14 until I put them on. They're mini, mini, mini. And look how cute they look. I'll put this little. Look how pretty this would be. As a wire wrapped ring. How adorable. Debbie says, do you have the big rings on the website? The big rings.
We don't
big
have
rings. What big rings?
Rings?
This is one I made, Debbie. If you're talking about this, I made this ring with a piece of silver wire about this long, and I wrapped it around a pencil and just wrapped one side all the way down. You can see. And then the other side, I just wrapped it. And I tried to make it where it's like a pretty wrap, and I did it where it's doubled. I don't know if you can see that. So this is actually wrapped twice and then doubled so that it made a thicker, like decorative. I was going for a vine or like seaweed-like look for that. So that's how that went. But this is pretty easy to make. And I showed that on one of the lives. I might revisit that. And let's see, what else is left? There are a couple of these. So if you are in the market for some of these links, oh, and I'm getting ready to make for our friend Carrie requested a set. So this is 26. I think the average is 26. We just measure it to weigh it to find out how much they cost. But we're about to do another run and do the whole set. So I think there's 6 or 7 pieces. This would make, if you had all of them, if you would like the full set in silver, message me and we'll put you on the list. I probably won't do that for a lot sale or have extras because it's not, it's kind of, it's not a cheap date because it's like 20, there's, I think 7. So let me know, message me, and I will put one together. And yeah, I told her, I was like, I don't know why I don't have that. I have one in pewter, but in silver, that would be killer. All right, I think I've gone over everything that we have that we did that we had left over. I might have a couple more of these. There might be 2 left. And this is the my homage to Asheville. It says the mountains are calling. I did a little rhododendrons and a moon and a little owl. If you look up at the top, there's a little owl tucked in and a little thick bear. We'll be seeing bears here. It's about that time of the year when they start getting into everything and stringing out our trash all over hill and dale. That's what they like to do. Okay, I noticed my throat feels scratchy, so that's my cue.
You did a good job.
So hopefully you got something out of seeing me like really massage that necklace wherever it disappeared. Oh, here it is. With this. This is fun. I want to cut off that last knot's getting loose. You can't leave it alone. You can't just leave it like this. You have to keep them tightened or they all start to loosen up. So this would be a good time to put in one of these thread keepers so it doesn't keep getting looser and looser and looser until it comes apart. You don't want that. I'm going to get both sides. So until I finish the whole thing, which I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to go back over the whole thing and then trim it. Maybe add a charm. Maybe add charms all over and it's transformed into a new necklace. All right. So hopefully that was useful. I felt like I went on and on forever working on that one thing. We'll see. All right. Okay, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me Well, we repaired a necklace.
He needs his snack.
A lot of extra, but I'm happy to have it to wear. I'll finish that and I will melt off that last bit. That cat is getting worked over. That's what happens to him like 50 times a day by everybody that is in this house. Sometimes people that don't live here, that's what happens.
Sorry. He complains a little bit, but he's mostly just want to eat. Look at his big feet.
Mm-hmm. That's a cat that knows what he wants. Sometimes he gets so enthusiastic it splashes that treat everywhere. But if I hold it, he will. He starts doing this like growling thing and trying to bite the whole thing and trying to bite way down and then squeeging it with his teeth. So he gets the maximum amount of. Honey, you got a little something on your face. All right, my friends. Thank you all for joining us. We had a good time. We love you out there and hope that y'all have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll have a nice lucky dip. We have one that we've been working on. I showed it last week, and we have a few more things. I went through my beads. I forgot I had a whole tub of stuff that how do I I didn't misplace it. I knew I had it, but I just didn't see it. So then, you know how when you don't see it right in front of you, then it ceases to exist. Does that happen to anybody else? Because it seems to happen to me. Nope, denied. You see that he totally just. And actually, I'm grateful that he didn't bonk heads because right on his face, you missed a spot, honey. Missed a spot because he was about to bonk heads and he decided not to, but right on the front of his face, he had a little bit of that churu. All right, my friends, thank you all for joining us. We will see you back here at 7 on Sunday. I will show something else, hopefully something more interesting than necklace repair. I'll have that one finished so you can see how it looks. All right, friends, guys, have a wonderful bye-bye. Marty, say goodnight. Wouldn't that be cute if you could say